All right, friends, good morning to you all. Now 10:17 in the morning here around Kansas City. And yet again, it looks like a hot, kind of steamy situation out there right now. We've got some showers trying to make themselves known to the area from the west. And we do anticipate to see some shower activity, maybe even isolated thunderstorm as we move closer to around maybe lunchtime and perhaps all the way up to about 2 or 2:30 into the afternoon. And unfortunately, that may bring us to another scenario of getting into some serious heat indices for this afternoon, or feel-like temperatures. So good morning to you all. Storm Track 5 meteorologist Greg Bennett here. We wanted to go live with you streaming on all of our social media and, of course, streaming platforms in general to just alert you guys, warning you first about some intense heat anticipated for the next 24 to really 48 hours. What we do have and what we updated you with first thing in the morning when it came down the pipeline to us was an excessive heat warning, not just for western counties, which is where we started off at 4:30 this morning to warn you about, but it's also now for the metro area. And we've got that up until 9 p.m. Friday night. Just like every other advisory or watch or warning that we have here, we were dealing with heat advisories yesterday. Everything seems to want to lift, at least for the time being, on our Friday night at 9 p.m. But that does include the metro now, every single county involved with it. So the big question is, what does this really mean? What is an excessive heat warning? Well, an excessive heat warning by definition is getting into a heat index of at least 105 degrees or greater, and it has to be for a prolonged period of time, meaning more than just one day. So consecutive days of getting into 105 degrees as a feel-like temperature or greater than that. Well, yesterday we almost broke an all-time kind of record of a feel-like temperature. We actually tied it, which was placed back in 2000, mind you, so 23 years old, of 117 degrees registered at KCI. That was the feel-like temperature, not the air temperature out there. Our actual air temperature was up to about 98 degrees. And one of the reasons why we dealt with such a hot kind of feel-like temperature is because we saw some shower and storm activity develop, drop significant amount of rainfall, and then that rain started to evaporate immediately into the afternoon, causing a very humid kind of atmosphere around the city itself and around the surrounding area. And that, of course, led to a significant feel-like temperature increase from the 104 to 105 degrees we were expecting to a whopping 117. Well, there's an opportunity for that to occur as, of course, we look live yet again over the Kansas City area, looking at the fact that we've got more humidity out there. The moisture content is building as we continue with a southerly flow out of the south central plains. Now, that's where we're getting our moisture fuel source from, but we do have an upper level low pressure system that's settling in just to the west of us, and with it, what we call a trough system. It's kind of like a front, but it doesn't have the characteristics of a cold front, nor the characteristics of a warm front, and it's reasonably disorganized, but it does destabilize the atmosphere and provide opportunities for shower and storm activity to build if we had the right ingredients. So we do have the right ingredients, and that's what's creating a little bit of a wet weather scenario for us. Nothing too aggressive. I'm not thinking we're going to get into any kind of a severe thunderstorm threat, but a run-of-the-mill thunderstorm like we saw move on through yesterday across the entirety of the metro, I'm not going to rule that out for us as we make it closer to around the afternoon or lunchtime time frame. Now, that's looking to bypass us by about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And remember, we did not reach our high temperature at 4 o'clock in the afternoon yesterday. It was closer to about 6 or 6:30 at night, reaching about 98 degrees. Today, I'm expecting the same temperature, about 98, as the high temperature. Now, that is if we get rid of cloud cover and break into more sunshine like we did yesterday for the late afternoon and early evening. If we do keep that cloud cover, it may get a little bit on the cooler side for us. Perhaps we may deal with only the mid 90s, maybe 95 or 94 degrees. But for the time being, the forecast is calling for a threat of getting rid of wet weather in cloud cover. And by about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we see a lot more sunshine. And that's going to allow us to really heat up and evaporate all that water that's around the viewing area, including the metro. That creates more humidity. That's going to create a greater heat index. So we may surpass what we're expecting today, which, by the way, is about 107 degrees is what we're looking at right now. This is just a reminder to let you all know that this is a serious situation for us in those kinds of conditions. Even a minor strenuous activity like just doing a walk or a very light jog for a quarter mile, maybe around the neighborhood, can result in getting dizzy, into faintness, if you're not taking care of yourself. Heat exhaustion and heat stroke are going to be major concerns today if you have to be outdoors in the afternoon. So the suggestion is, if you've got to be out there, take so many breaks in the shaded areas and in AC areas, and make sure that bottle of water or a sports drink that's going to help you keep hydrated, you're using that constantly as well. We also have a high UV index today of about 9.9. That would result in about a 35-minute burn time out there. So potential skin damage just from the sun beating down on you and those UV rays. That's going to be a scenario as well we got to watch out for. If we do achieve 98 degrees today, that would result in the asphalt or tarmac most likely getting above 150 degrees, which could result in about third-degree burns if you were to touch that, palm on that kind of asphalt out there. Within about 2 or 3 seconds, you could have that kind of damage. So this is just to give you kind of perspective of how seriousness this kind of heat is. And I know we get kind of hot during the summer season. This isn't like the craziest thing that could ever happen. Well, this hasn't happened for this long, meaning we prolonged this heat within the viewing area. And we've had 1 or 2 days in our summer seasons before getting into mid-90s. I feel like temperatures about 102, 103. That's not out of the wheelhouse for us, but as we surpass that to over 110 degrees plus in feel-like temperatures, and some areas receiving actual air temperatures of around 100 to 103 degrees, well, that's where we get out of the wheelhouse of a normalcy for us, right? Obviously, as you can tell, we're still dealing with it with these heat advisories and heat warnings. So it's definitely something we want to watch out for. I'm going to leave you with one more look over the city metro here. It was just an alert to let you guys know we are still under this serious heat for today. We've got to take it serious, and it will continue into tomorrow afternoon. We do see a reprieve from that wet weather, from that heat, I should say, with wet weather that actually comes in for our Sunday forecast, but that may result in an opportunity for isolated severe storms. It's a little too far out right now. We're going to continue to track it, but for the time being,